Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 2 of the Ben 10 podcast. Sadly, I am once again all alone with nobody else to talk to but myself. But yeah, I've been going all across the internet searching for a perfect co host to talk with me about Ben 10. And I got nobody. One guy did say um, that I'm terrible at speaking. One guy did say that in like 5 weeks he might be able to record a podcast with me, but he doesn't have time right now. And that dude is K-Tech. And he asked me the other day to put his channel in my recommendation for channels tab, and he put my channel in his tab too. So, yeah. Will we do anything together beyond that? I don't know, but I would really like a co host for this podcast. So that would be neat, I guess, if I could get him to do it. But yeah, as for other people, like I've been talking to other YouTubers and people who don't do YouTube, and I've just been searching all over. I've gotten a few responses, and they're all like, "Yeah, no, I sadly decline your offer," and all that jazz. It's kind of disappointing, but uh, that's what happens when you have under like 100 subscribers. Hopefully, I'll get to 100 subs by the end of July. Right now, I'm at like 78. And yeah, I also really need more Twitter followers. Seriously, guys. I need more followers on Twitter. Anywho, so today we're going to be talking about a very interesting new episode of the Ben 10 reboot that premiered Ben Again and Again. And yeah, this episode piqued my interest whenever I saw the Ben 10 wiki page for it, where it listed saying that like other characters would be using the Omnitrix in this episode, including Gwen. So that gave me enough reason to be like, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. At this point in the Ben 10 reboot, I'm not watching every single episode. I'm not going to do that, but I decided to check this one out because the wiki page interested me. That's generally how I choose like what episodes I watch. I would have tried to watch every single episode with Vilgax, but they're using Vilgax a lot in season 2 of the reboot, so yeah, I'm not watching every Vilgax episode. Anyway, so yeah, I just thought it was very interesting that we got this episode. I'm not going to talk about the plot yet, but I will say that there was a leaked image for like the season 2 finale that showed like other people using the Omnitrix and Glitch Ben, which we previously saw in toy form, and then we saw in the leaked screenshot. And yeah, so it made me very interested to see like this episode came earlier in the season before that leaked screenshot, and yeah, so just furthered my interest into watching this episode. So yeah, um, I'm trying to remember all the episodes I've seen so far of season 2. Honestly, I've mostly just seen clips and moments. Like every single time. Normally, whenever I watch an episode of the Ben 10 reboot, I just kind of skip a couple of scenes. So I don't think I've seen an entire episode from the season yet. Um, but I did until now. I watched the whole thing from beginning to end with this episode because it was a surprisingly really good episode. I I legit didn't think it'd be this good just because other people were using the Omnitrix. But no, it was an interesting episode. But before I start saying all like everything good about it, I want to watch it again because I watched it last night, and it was a very fast paced episode, and it was really one problem I did have for the first time watching it is it was kind of hard to follow everything that was going on because everything was happening so fast and it was chaotic. Um, yeah, I guess I'll say real quick before I watch it. Um, the best way to describe this episode was probably that one scene in the Gravity Falls time travel episode where Blendin first showed up and Dipper got the time travel tape measure from him. The scene where like Dipper and Mabel were fighting over the time travel tape measure. That's this whole episode. Like this whole entire episode feels like that one scene where they were just traveling all across time. This whole episode feels like that. And that was a very short scene in that Gravity Falls episode. So and this episode's basically that, but stretched out to 11 minutes. Yeah, the Gravity Falls episode was better though. Anyway, so yeah, now I'm going to rewatch it. And also, at the end of this podcast, I'm going to talk about a video game announcement not related to Ben 10, but it. Let's say Nintendo gave us 25 minutes of this game today. I bet you all can guess what I'm going to talk about. Anyway. Alright, so I just rewatched the episode and I did not enjoy it as much as I remember enjoying it the first time. Um, this episode's just confusing. A lot of the time, I feel like in the Ben 10 reboot, they have to squish the plot down so much into 11 minutes that it becomes very hard to follow, even with like the 4-part episode Omnitrix that ended the first season. I felt like when I watched that episode for the first time, like my brain was like, what is going on? Whenever I saw that episode first time, like there were so many things that were just like, is this? Is that? Because you know, my brain, like, since I'm such an expert, quote unquote, of like the first 4 Ben 10 shows, like whenever I see something in the reboot and it just happens really fast, but it's something from the old show, it grabs my attention and then it's gone. And it's like I'm just wondering, like, what is going on? Because this show's so fast. It's very fast. This is a fast show. It's very fast. And yeah, it just becomes hard to follow a lot of the time. Like, oh my god. Anyway, with this episode though, the plot is um basically Ben fights Billy Billionson, who was a villain from Omniverse, and he turns into Accelerate, and like Billy has like a laser helmet thing, and when blasting Accelerate while he's running, it creates time portals. Weird. It's just I don't know. It's weird. Again, like this show, like has to go so fast, so they don't have time to really make like good explanations for things like, oh, they got shot by the laser and time portal was created. It's weird. Yeah, this episode just goes too fast. It just goes too fast. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about the Omniverse version of Billy first. So like Omniverse, Billy was a great villain that showed up, for a couple of episodes. I liked him the most though in the first episode with him, where like he was a kid who went to school with Ben, and for some reason got really jealous. And since he's a billionaire, he decided to mm, like like he was jealous of Ben for some reason, and he decided to use this money to attack Ben. And I don't think he knew like his secret identity, but I don't know. Anyway, he tried to attack Ben in a flashback during the first episode with Billy in Omniverse, and attacking Ben accidentally caused him to like he was going. It wasn't. It's been so long since I've seen that like the episodes of Omniverse, but anyway, um, Billy was trying to trap Ben into Dimension 12, which was previously established as something in Ultimate Alien, but we never actually saw Dimension 12 until Omniverse. So it was really cool just to see Dimension 12 in Omniverse. And so Billy got himself trapped in Dimension 12. And Dimension 12 is a post apocalyptic dimension where the human race accidentally created killer robots that wiped out humanity. And so Billy had to survive there for 5 years. And for some reason in this dimension, time doesn't work. So by the time he got freed from Dimension 12, he went back to his home dimension, and 5 years has passed, but he is still inside of a child's body while having a wiser person's mind. So, yeah, in his mind, he was basically the same age as Ben still, but body wise, like he was a kid and Ben was a teenager. And he also had like a devilish face and just made him look like very weird. In in Omniverse, they just turn him into a normal kid. He doesn't have any of that backstory of him being trapped in Dimension 12 for 5 years and still being like an adult inside of a child's body, basically. And you they don't have any of that in Omniverse. He was just a spoiled rich kid, and when I saw the first episode with him in Omniverse, I was very upset because it just felt like generic rich kid who hates the character for no reason. Like in The Very Odd Parents, you had that character Rexy, like um, Reggie Bucks Plenty or something like that. I don't remember. Uh, um, and yeah, Billy the Benton reboot just kind of felt like him, mixed with young blood from Dan Phantom, basically. I don't know. I didn't really like it with the first episode with him, but this episode, it's not very annoying, but I still prefer the Omniverse version of Billy. Anyway, so then the episode starts with them fighting, and Billy then and it creates that the time portal. And when I saw that, I thought, "Oh, is it a portal to Dimension 12? Are we gonna go to Dimension 12 in this episode, like in Omniverse?" No. Instead, they do something else, which is probably a better thing because this is something that I've been waiting the entire series of the Benton reboot for them to do, which was they finally retold Ben's origin story in this episode. The reboot, for some reason, skipped the origin story of Ben getting the Omnitrix. The reboot, for some reason, skipped that, and we finally got to see it in this episode. Like, it really is kind of annoying that they just skipped over that with the reboot and they just started like, oh, it's the average normal episode. We do not know what actually is like the first episode of the reboot, if it's the first episode that aired in the UK or the first episode that aired in the US. We don't actually know what is the correct order of the show, And what is the first episode? We don't know. And my dog keeps barking outside. I hope he stops soon. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. We just like the show for some reason waited until now with this time travel episode to finally show Ben's origin story. And yeah, so basically Billy and Ben go back in time, and whenever um, the Omnitrix shows up, and uh, yeah. And for some reason, like, they're stuck inside of a time paradox where if the past version of Ben doesn't get the Omnitrix, then time is reset back to the beginning of the story. It's super weird. And for some reason, every time when they time travel, they also have like different costume changes, and their personalities are also changed a little bit. So the first time they turn into knights, and for some reason, Billy was turned into a Kemai, Ben was turned into a knight. The show doesn't have the Forever Knights, by the way, but yeah, I guess that means that Billy is related to a king. So that's interesting. He's always been rich. And the phone is ringing and I'm not going to answer it. I'm going to wait for somebody else to. Anyway, uh, yeah, the podcast is terrible. This is a garbage podcast. Anyway, it's just an odd episode in general. Just very fast paced. You don't have time to really even pay attention all that much. It's ah, I I I hate that all modern cartoons nowadays have to be 11 minutes long. This is honestly why Gravity Falls is one of the best shows in years, because it's actually 22 minutes instead of 11 minutes. Honestly, going back and rewatching the Ben 10 Classic episodes these days, honestly, I feel like they're even going very fast. And those are 22-minute episodes. Those are like normal length episodes, while the Ben 10 reboot is half with 11 minutes. And I don't like that every show has to be 11 minutes long. Steven Universe kind of figured out how to tell a well-paced story with 11-minute episodes. Steven Universe kind of figured it out and did it well. I still wish that Steven Universe was a 22-minute show, but yeah, it's just. Yep, like at one point in this episode, Billy has like a giant mech suit, and like my mind doesn't even have proper time to even notice it because I'm paying more attention to the Omnitrix and not Billy. And he's just a little giant mech suit that just came out of nowhere. It's blarg. It's so weird. And yeah, so the costume changes they all go through. They start out as knights, and then they become future cyborgs, and Ben's future cyborg body kind of looks like Mad Ben from Omniverse, and then they become cyborg pirates at the very end, and it's all weird. So it's so weird. It is an okay episode. It's probably my favorite individual episode of the reboot so far. But it's still just too fast. Slow down. Slow down, please. Honestly, one of my favorite moments in this episode is just whenever Billy looks up in the sky and sees the Omnitrix falling, and that just kind of felt like, yeah, that's a good moment. It felt like that one moment in this episode felt like it belonged in a 22-minute episode rather than an 11-minute episode. So that's kind of just my favorite moment. Just him looking at the Omnitrix falling. Like, it's a very short, brief, like 5-second moment, but it felt like, yeah, that was the one well-paced scene in this whole episode. It's just so fast. My mind can't keep up with the pacing of this show. Blarg. It's just so fast. It's just too fast. Anyway, what else did I like about the episode? Um, we see Vilgax's drones in the episode, which I didn't think that they were going to include those within the Benton origin story. I kind of felt like the reason why they skipped over the origin story, beyond the fact, beyond just the fact that Teen Titans Go and the Powerpuff Girls reboot also just kind of neglected the origin stories at first. And yeah, beyond that, like I didn't think we would see Vilgax's. I didn't think we would like Vilgax would get involved with the origin story of Ben in this show, because Vilgax's story in the show is just so drastically different. Like when he first shows up in Omnitrick, it just feels like this is not the same Vilgax. He has a different story, and yet apparently he was still hunting down the Omnitrix from the beginning, but he never did anything throughout the first 40 episodes of this show. So you think he sent so apparently, so let's take a look at Vilgax's story in the show so far. We know that somehow his powers were stripped away of him, and he's still an alien conqueror in the show. His powers were somehow stripped away and put into the Omnitrix. So, of course, just like in the original show, he sent out his drones to get the Omnitrix because he didn't have the power to do it. And they fail, which then in the original show, Vilgax keeps sending more and more drones in later episodes until the season 1 finale, where his body's healed because he was extremely injured. His body's finally repaired, so he finally goes and gets the Omnitrix. But like, it's weird that he only sent out drones to get the Omnitrix once and never did it again. In the reboot, it just feels weird to me. I know that the drones showed up in the reboot too, but that was after Vilgax's debut. It just feels weird. But yeah, with the drones, they did keep their classic designs, which every time when they keep something looking like the old show, it just makes me happy. When they try to keep it as close to the old show as possible. So I was happy to see the drones have their classic appearance. The Vilgax's drones in the original show have some of the coolest robot designs ever. And I love robots, so we unfortunately don't get to see the giant drone in this episode, but there's no time for that because the show's so fast. And also, for some reason, Vilgax's drones talk. Like, it's just the flying saucer drones, and for some reason they talked. And they had the voice of Grandpa Max in this show, so that was weird. Hearing, and just this episode's so fast. And I did notice this time while watching the episode that the container pod that contains the Omnitrix in this episode is also the same as the original show, the classic design, the containment unit. And yeah, that was interesting to see. But like, the odd thing about it though with the reboot is that in the theme song they show like a meteor crashing on Earth, and assumably it contained the Omnitrix. And we didn't really see the meteorite form of the Omnitrix's container unit in this episode. So it just kind of feels like a continuity mistake the reboot made. I don't know. Is the theme song canon? I don't know. But yeah, I was just... Yep. It just feels so odd that they waited until now to finally do the origin story, especially since the first season, the reboot, is filled with remake episodes, like retelling plot lines from the old shows. Just, like, it just felt so weird. It feels weird. The Ben 10, like, purposefully tried to have some weird moments within the original show, while at the same time still feeling grounded somehow. And it was a good mix between weirdness and groundedness, with the original show. In this show, it's all weird all the time. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so how many people use the Omnitrix in this episode? We see Billy use the Omnitrix, we see a random squirrel use the Omnitrix, and we see Gwen use the Omnitrix. And the part where Gwen uses the Omnitrix is so short, and they actually made a joke about how short it was. Yeah, yeah, which I was while watching the episode the first time, I was disappointed that it was so short, and then they made a joke about it being so short. So yeah, I guess it's just because they're wanting to save it for the season 2 finale, but also at the beginning of the show, they did do a retelling of the episode where Ben and Gwen switched bodies. So we've already seen Gwen use the Omnitrix in Ben's body, and yeah, it's kind of odd that with this episode they kept it so short. I don't know. It's weird. It's very hard to keep track of watching this episode. Just, ugh. I don't like the pacing of this show. Yeah, it's an okay episode. I give it 6 out of 10. All right. So now let's move on to something that's not Ben 10. Let's talk about Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. So, yeah, today was Nintendo's E3 Direct, and they didn't show a whole lot of things I cared about other than Smash Bros. Every single game they showed before Smash Bros, I'm very hesitant to play any of those. I don't think I'll be playing the Super Mario Party. I'm not sure if I'll play the new Fire Emblem game. The only Fire Emblem game I've played so far is Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS, and I've played very little of that. So, yeah, and before I would even get the new Fire Emblem game, which is called like Fire Emblem Free Houses. Yeah, that's definitely a very cool title that all the teenagers are going to get. Anyway, with Fire Emblem, it looks like Fire Emblem. It looks fun. I'm still playing Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle though. And they also announced they also showed off the DLC for Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and yeah, before I play any other strategy RPGs, I'm going to finish Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle first. And yeah, the Fire Emblem game was the most interesting thing they showed off, other than Smash Bros. So, yeah, it's so disappointing. It's kind of disappointing to me. Like, yeah, the new Mario Party game does look like it's doing good, cool things with the Switch. But I'm not a Mario Party guy. I've never really liked Mario Party. Like, true, I haven't played the first 3 Nintendo 64 games that people love the most, but I'm not a Mario Party guy. I just don't feel it. You know? So yeah, I'm not sure if I'll buy any of these games other than Smash Bros. But yeah, Smash Bros. Let's talk about Smash Bros. Yeah, Super Smash Brothers. Oh my god. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Yeah, I didn't feel too hyped watching it just because the game mostly does look like Smash Bros. For Wii U. I've played plenty of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. I was ready for a brand new art style, which, watching the Nintendo Treehouse gameplay after the Direct, where, like, there isn't so many zoom-in shots on the characters, it really looked nice. Just the normal raw gameplay. But since it's Smash Bros., we always have to have the zoom-ins on the characters. And it just made it look exactly like the Wii U version with the zoom-ins, but with the raw gameplay, it looked way more polished than the Wii U version. I really like the new title screen they showed off. I'm not sure what the final game title screen is going to look like, but the title screen we saw in the Nintendo Treehouse thing, that looked great. Oh, I like most of the time with franchises, like, I don't like the changes of that. I don't like all these changes of the Benton reboot. But with Smash Bros, it's like when you see the same, like whenever you play so many matches, like whenever you play hundreds of hours of Smash, you kind of get tired of it eventually. And yeah, I'm ready for changes with Smash for Switch, and it doesn't look like they're going to be changing a whole lot. Instead, like the title Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, not my favorite title of the series, but it is a fitting title because it has every single character from the previous four, five, if you count the 3DS game, all the previous Smash Bros. Games, every single characters in the new one. So it feels like the ultimate Smash Bros. Package because it finally has every single character from all the games. It feels like it should be the definitive version of Smash Bros. But let's be honest, that'll never stop people from claiming that Melee's the best one. Yeah, this game's still not going to satisfy the Melee players. I can tell that right now. It's not going to make them want to stop playing Melee on their RCT and TV screens, but for the more casual Smash Bros. Player who just really likes the new Smash Bros. And gets really hyped looking at Smash Bros., that's the main Nintendo crowd, I really should say. That's the audience this game's for. And yeah, I'm in that audience. Honestly, I haven't played Melee since I was like 6 years old or 7. So, like, all the Melee characters that are returning to this game that haven't been in the game since Melee, those are going to feel like brand new characters to me. I haven't played as young Link or Pichu. I don't remember playing as those characters at all in the previous Smash Bros. Games. And it's also been a while since I played Brawl, so like characters like Wolf and Snake will still feel kind of new to me. So yeah, it's nice that we're finally getting all those older characters back in the new game, and they're going to feel kind of fresh to me because it's been a while since I played those games. Like the most recent Smash games I've played, like most recently, for the past couple of years, I've really only been playing Smash Bros. On Wii U and the Nintendo 64 Smash Bros. So it's going to feel nice going back to like the 3DS version stages because I haven't played Smash on 3DS in so long. It's going to feel really nice finally playing those 3DS stages on console. Yeah, it's going to be a good game, man. It's going to be a good game. Anyway, disappointing things about Smash Bros. Waluigi is an assist trophy still. That's heartbreaking, man. I want to play as Waluigi the Smash Bros. But he's still an assist trophy. Why? I don't know. But yeah. It was cool to see Bomberman though as an assist trophy. Yeah, it'd be cool if he was a character, but that looks like a really good like thing. Whenever you grab the assist trophy, I'm going for from now on. Whenever I'm playing Smash Bros. With the assist trophies turned on, I'm going to want to get Bomberman because he looked like a really cool one. They're introducing. Yep, it's so cool. It's cool. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to watch the Smash Bros. Tournament. For now, as far as I know, for right now, the tournament could be going on right now. I'm not sure if I'll watch it. I probably will. And this video won't even come out until Saturday, whenever everything's long over. So I don't know why I'm even talking about that. This won't even be relevant on Saturday. Whatever. Anyway. So yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, it's a shame that it's the only thing I'm really looking forward to from the new Nintendo Direct. The thing was 40 minutes long, 20 minutes of it were Smash Bros. And yeah, and it's the only thing from the whole from the first from the whole thing I'm looking forward to, which it's kind of sad. I don't know. The other day with during the Ubisoft conference, I didn't watch it, but whenever the trailer released for like Star Fox and that one Toys for Life game, I don't even remember the name, Starlink, I think it was. That was exciting. That should have been in the Nintendo Direct because it would have made me excited to see Star Fox. Yeah, I don't know. I like Star Fox. That would have gotten me hyped for the game even more so if it was in the Nintendo Direct instead of the Ubisoft one. I'm not sure if I'll even play it because it's a Toys for Life game and I'm done with Skylanders and all of those stuff. I stopped collecting Amiibo years ago. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Just so now the question, I guess, is what upcoming Nintendo games am I looking forward to that were not showed off? Sadly, I'm a huge Pikmin fan. Pikmin 4 was announced in 2015. Pikmin 3 came out in 2013. I've been waiting for Pikmin 4 for so long. Nintendo still hasn't shown off any gameplay for Pikmin 4. I thought this was going to be the year for Pikmin 4. We were finally going to see it at E3. No, it was not the year for Pikmin 4. Oh no. Uh, I love Pikmin so much. Oh, why wasn't Pikmin 4 at E3? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The fact that Nintendo still hasn't shown off Pikmin 4 is killing me. And yeah, I was also interested to see Metroid Prime 4, but they didn't. And like the past couple of days, I've been really hyping myself up for Metroid Prime. I've been hyping myself up, watching a ton of Metroid videos, looking up the lore and all that stuff. I've been hyping myself up for the Metroid announcement. No Metroid. Sadness. Well, there was Metroid, but it wasn't Metroid Prime 4. Instead, it was the announcement of Ridley being in Smash Bros. That was the big Metroid announcement for this one. Ridley and Smash. Yay! Yeah. That I'm looking way more forward to Ridley than playing as the Inklings, honestly. I bought Splatoon 2. I hadn't even played online a single online match for Splatoon 2 yet. I got that game. I barely touched it. I just when Splatoon came out, I was super into it. I loved it. Now, they had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed Splatfest. I didn't even bother with it because I'm tired of Splatoon. Hopefully, like Smash Bros will actually rejuvenate my interest in Splatoon because I'll definitely be playing as the Inkling in Smash Bros. And hopefully that'll make me finally pick up Splatoon 2 and start playing Splatoon again because I need I need to play Splatoon 2. I just do. I honestly do regret not buying ARMS and choosing Splatoon 2 instead. I should play ARMS, but instead I bought Splatoon 2 and I didn't play Splatoon 2. Ah, I don't know. I'm I'm a weird Nintendo fan. I don't know. I'm very tired right now. Anyway, So yeah, this is the end of episode 2 of the Ben 10 podcast, where we also talked about Smash Bros. uh, anyway, um, I know I said previously that the second episode was going to be about 5 years later. I don't know when I'm going to get to do an episode on 5 years later. I don't know. I got a couple of ideas in my head for future episodes of the Ben 10 podcast. I'm definitely excited to continue recording more of the Generator Rex podcast more so. The Ben 10 podcast is going to be a way more like casual kind of podcast where I kind of just talk about whatever, not just exclusively Ben 10. With Generator Rex, though, I'm just excited to get back into that show and watch every single episode and continue to talk about Generator Rex. So yeah, I'm probably going to do something, and then like an hour from now, I'll probably start recording the Generator Rex podcast because I'm excited to watch some more Generator Rex. So yeah, see you guys next week for the next episode of the Generator Rex podcast. Bye.